All right, testing. Hopefully, I'm having some major technical difficulties. So hopefully, you guys are seeing this. So if you are seeing this, just do me a favor and comment. Of course, everything is completely malfunctioning right now. So let me know if you are seeing this and just comment, please. And it looks like I am sideways. So give me 1 second. I'm going to go ahead and flip this around. Let's see if I can make this larger. Too large, right? There we go. This might be it right here. All right, since I am changed this and I have a new link now, I am going to give you guys a second to catch up with me and try to share this with everybody. I apologize. This has been one day I will figure out streaming, hopefully one day soon. So I am sharing this link with everybody, and then hopefully you get this. There you go. I'm just waiting for everybody to kind of catch up right now. Okay, so hopefully everybody starts getting the link now and you join me here in a few seconds. Nothing like technical difficulties. Gotta love it. All right, looks like some of you are starting to join. That is awesome. All right, as you are joining, go ahead and let me know where you are, where you're joining me from. And then I'm assuming you guys already have your watercolor papers ready. If not, go ahead, grab your watercolor papers. And I am going to be using, I'm going to start with like a medium-sized brush. So about that size right there. Nevada, hi Nevada. Awesome. Hello from New Hampshire. I'm in New Hampshire as well. Like I said, I had technical difficulties and I was scrambling and trying to figure it all out. And of course, ChatGPT was gloriously letting me down. So, but we are here now. We are going to be doing a live, we're going to be doing a few things. We can do, I think we're going to try to do maybe 4 paintings, nothing crazy. We're going to start something with something simple. And now I can't get back into my video link. Oops. Have you guys, I don't know if you've experienced this, but it's like when one device fails, they all start failing. So I have like an iPad and a MacBook, and they're both starting to give out on me. So all right, so I'm going to give you guys a chance to catch up. This is the kind of brush I'm going to be using. So just like a medium-sized brush, nothing too big. And you don't want to go too small either, because it'll take you a little bit to go. And then we're going to be doing kind of like I'm going to do hearts like hanging from a branch. So we are going to be doing like pick some colors that you like. So I'm probably going to be doing pinks, purples, blues. So just kind of what you would think of as like your, do whatever colors you like, but we're going to be doing some hearts across this way and then a branch. So I'm going to be doing a pink, and I'm going to show you how much I'm using here. So pink, purple, blue. Of course, my blue's almost out. There goes the snow plows. Get some blue here. Blue. I'm going to add a little bit of orange. I use orange to kind of dilute the brightness of the colors. Not so much to use it by itself, but just to kind of dilute the colors a little bit. And then I'm going to do a brown for the branch. So those are my colors. All right, so let me know if you guys are good on your colors. I'm kind of using this opportunity with the technical difficulties to let you guys get your paints out. So I'm going to pull up my laptop really quick while you guys get your paints. So we're going to do, I'm just going to kind of draw out where my branch is going to be. So it's kind of going to be going across like this, just like that. And then I'm going to have some hearts. I'm going to have different size hearts hanging from the branch, and then putting them at different heights. Too. This is kind of a nice way to just ease into this, so we're not kind of jumping into some crazy difficult painting right off the bat. So I think I'm going to start with that. So let me know what you think. Those snowplows are loud. Hello, North Carolina. I think you guys just got hit pretty big by the storm, didn't you? Hello, Mandy. Hi, Kelly. All right, so you should have your hearts out. We're just going to start really, really easy. So we're going to start with what's called wet on wet. And you guys are going to be able to pause this video whenever you want. You can't rewind it while we're live. And I apologize that it's in this weird format, but I will figure it out. Next time I go live, which is tomorrow, I will hopefully have this figured out. So I'm going to start from, I'm right-handed, so I'm going to start from left to right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just mix some colors. So this is a really bright pink. I don't really want anything that bright, so I'm going to add a touch of orange to it to just kind of mute it a little bit. You can see how that's already really lightened that. So you could do this is wet on wet. You can start with making the heart wet first, or you can just go kind of watered down and just paint that on there like that. I don't think it gets much more simple than that, but this is such a cute, I've seen this on Pinterest. It is super cute. And then the idea behind this is to kind of keep them in the same shades. So all I'm going to do is kind of add a color to it instead of starting brand new. I've just added a touch of purple to this pink to keep it in the same family. And if you're hopping on late because of my technical difficulties, don't worry about it because we are going to be doing several pieces today. So even if you are missing this one or jumping in and you don't get a chance to jump in on time, don't worry, I'm gonna add to it. So I'm gonna take this color and kind of add it to this pink a little bit here, because I am going for this kind of organic look. So I don't want it to all be these bright unison colors. And then maybe a little bit more purple here. So see how mixing those colors is already turning out really cute. Okay, perfect. So now I'm going to go into my next color. I'm going to take this, I'm going to add a touch of my blue here. Turn it into like a lilac-y purple. Just like that. And there was a little bit of blue stuck in my brush, but that's okay. I'm gonna roll with it. So the next one we're going to be doing is a wreath. And there's actually two different wreaths I'm going to do. One of them is going to be, well, you'll see. So I'm adding a little bit more orange now. I don't know what color this is, but I like it. It's like a dusty purple. I'm gonna put that right there. Need more orange. There we go. I think I'm gonna add a little bit more pink to that. I'm kind of taking my time with this too because I know I tend to paint really fast, so I don't want to lose you guys. All right, now what color do I want? I think I want like a really, really light pink. So I'm gonna do this pencil mark is gonna get erased. So I can barely see it. Because I'm gonna do such a light color that it will show through on the pencil. Let's do a bit more. And if you look, let me show you, I'm doing such a light color you can barely see it on my palette. So that's about the color I'm going for. I want a really, really light pink. And then I erased it. Look how light that is. That's cute. So I got 2 more hearts to go. I'm thinking I want to do a light blue. It's a little bit too baby bluish for me. I want more of a, I'm going to add a touch of black to make it more ashy. So this is the baby blue I have. I'm going to do like a little bit of a black to make it more of a dusty color. See, that's more what I wanted. I like that one. Okay. I'm also going to erase this a little bit so that you can't see it. I saw some of you guys posting pictures of getting ready to paint with me, which first of all, I love. I also saw that you guys had like your beverages ready to go. And I realized that you're more prepared than I am because I don't have anything. I don't have water or anything. So trial and error. There, I love this blue. I like that blue. I like it a lot. All right, now to find color for the last heart. What are you guys thinking? I think I want to do more of a red. Gotta have a red. It's Valentine's. All right, let's do more of a red. So I'm using Indian red, which if you're using the Dr. P.H. Martin paints, there's not really a true red. It's kind of, it's the only thing I can really point out that I don't like about their paints is they don't actually have a true red. And I've kind of noticed that about a lot of paints is that you don't get like a true red. They all have like an orange undertone, or they have a blue. I mean, obviously reds have those undertones, but I just, I just don't love the reds. Or I should say I don't like the lack of options in reds. And so the Indian red is my favorite because it's a little bit more on the organic color side of things instead of a really bright color. So it's more true to watercolor, I think, like a watercolor look. So this is Indian red. I didn't add anything to this. This is just Indian red, and it is watered down quite a bit. Okay, so I think I'm going to maybe frame these a little bit by tracing the outside so that they look a little bit more naturally rounded. So I'm just going to do this around the hearts. It's really weird for me to be painting this live, or actually any painting live like this, where I'm kind of thinking through the process. Because I'm not used to verbalizing my thoughts, at least not when it comes to art. I definitely verbalize my thoughts a lot. All right, how are you guys doing on your hearts? Let me know. This guy is so light. I can't even see him. Yeah, see how going around the edge there, I think helped quite a bit. Made it look less flat. And I'm using such a little, like if you look at my paints, they're so translucent. So they're very watered down. But I don't know what I was about to say. They're very watered down. There we go. This pink's very bright for what I'm doing here. Okay, we are going to now move on to the branch. I'm gonna add a little bit of purple to this. Just needs a little bit more muddiness there. Okay. So now we're going to move on to the branch. I'm going to use the same brush. You can use a smaller one if you want, if you feel more comfortable with it. And then we will tie them to the branch. I don't like to do that beforehand because then you kind of lose where the branch is. So we are going to start with the branch. And all I'm going to do, I have my light pencil mark right here. All I'm going to do, and I'm using beige, I'm going to add, so I have my beige here. I'm going to add just a touch of black to that, like such a small amount of black, just to make it more ashy. And this is my style. I tend to go, like if I have my choice of artwork that I'm painting, I'm definitely more of a minimalist when it comes to how I paint. So I like these very subtle colors. If you want more bright, definitely go more bright. Don't do the subtle just because I'm doing it. So I'm just going to go, all I'm going to do is just kind of paint across my pencil line just to get that in there. And then I will go in. And if you have like rough edges, leave that. Like if you kind of bump up against it or whatever, leave that because it gives you a natural branch look. And then of course, you want to get thinner as you get further out. So I'm just pulling some more of these out like this. So tomorrow, I'm thinking I'm going to go live at the same time. Hopefully, I'm going to work on that tomorrow morning. I'm going to work on doing this properly, where you guys get the full screen and actually share the correct link. That's my goal for tomorrow. So I'm going to go live at the same time tomorrow, but I don't know. I keep going back and forth on what to paint. So do we do something simple like this that you can paint along with? I'm thinking yes, right? Like you guys want to paint with me. I think that's the point. Instead of just watching me paint, because you can watch me paint any day of the week with my tutorials. But now it's like we're snowed in. Let's paint together. I think that's a good plan. But the question is, what do we paint? So now you look at your branch. You just kind of want to see where you're missing. You kind of look at your space. So I just drag. If you see, I just really kind of drag my brush. I'm barely touching the paper and I'm barely holding my brush because I want to use the delicateness of the brush, the way I hold it, to help me kind of pull this along. Oops, too dark. God, those clouds are so loud. They're so loud. All right. I think it needs like a branch down here. Like that. If you can't draw straight lines, then this is going to benefit you because, or not benefit you, you're going to be a benefit to your painting because we don't want straight lines. We want wiggly lines. Okay. I think that's good for branches. Now I'm going to add some detail to my branches so that they look more like branches. So I'm just adding a little bit of more black here because I'm going to do some shadow, and I'm just darkening this beige here like that. And then I'm going to go in and then just kind of go at some of the base of these, like right here. And then just add some streaks to my branch so that it looks more like a branch. See? Just like that. Sometimes I say things and I feel like I've watched too much Bob Ross because I hear his words coming through. Although, can you watch too much Bob Ross? I don't know. I don't know if that's a thing. Because it's all good with him. All right, so do you see how I'm just kind of dragging some thin lines through just to give it that branch look? And then once we add, we're going to do another painting after this. So obviously, if you're, I said this before, but I'm assuming some of people aren't, they're hopping in really late because of my mistake. But if you didn't get a chance to catch up with this one, don't worry about it. We're going to do a few of them today. And I think we're going to do the same thing tomorrow. I just don't know what we're painting tomorrow. All right, so let's do the little ties to tie them to the branch. And you can do this like with a micron pen, or you can do it with a brush. I'm going to do it with a brush, and I'm going to do them all the same color, mostly just because I want to make my life a little bit easier. I'm going to pick like I'm going to do this Indian red with a little bit of orange because I kind of want a darker tie like that. And then I'm just going to water it down a tad just so that it's easier to apply. Whoops, that was loud. I'm sorry. And then I'm just going to literally just tie them around the tree. So I'm just going to do like one line like this, like that, and then kind of come around the other side, like that. That's it. That is literally all I'm going to do. And I should not have started on the right side. I always do that. I'm going to start here on the left. So I'm going to go over like this, over the branch on the front, kind of loop around like this, and then come back around like that. So see how that looks like it's wrapped around the branch? Same thing here. go around. Oop, I have a long one here. This is going to be interesting. Here, let me see. This is going to go behind that other heart, like this. There you go, just like that. So in hindsight, I probably would have moved the heart over a little bit. And then this one. This one. Go back around there. Like that. There we go. So probably would have used a ruler if I was going to do this again, because I don't think these are hanging straight down, but that's okay. So last one. And that's it. Easy peasy. All right, we're gonna move to the next one. And that's it. Look how easy that was. What do you guys think? I'm gonna move to the next one. If you're catching up, or you want to finish up, go ahead and finish up. So this one, should I leave this so that you guys can see it? How's that? I think you can still see it. There we go. That way you can still see it while we do the next one. I'm just sharing this link with somebody really quick. All right, so hopefully you guys are catching up now. If you haven't already, we're going to start with the next one. All right, I think we're good. Okay, so we're going to do a wreath. I have kind of two wreaths in mind. Oh my goodness, there is so much snow outside. So which one should I do first? I'm gonna do this one first. So I'm going to draw a heart like this, and if you're not into hearts, you can draw whatever shape you want, but I'm going to do a heart since this is a Valentine theme paint project. And I'm doing one large heart. My pencil needs to be sharpened. And of course, my sharpener is at the studio. I'm going to make this a little bit fatter on this side so it's kind of the same shape on both sides of the heart. Okay, so I'm just doing like one heart here. There we go. Okay, so we're going to do florals around this. So we can start, depending on the size of your paper, like if you're using a smaller paper like I am, then you don't need, well, even on a smaller paper, I would grab a bigger brush. So I'm using a bigger brush. This is a size 12. And that's only because I'm going to do I'm going to start with some really loose watercolor around here with the florals. And then as it dries, I'm going to go in and do something a little bit more vibrant and deeper in the foreground. So we're going to pick a color theme. I'm going to do, I have hiccups. I'm going to do this in like a purple. I'm going to keep these in like the purple and blue theme. So I'm going to do purples. And I'm going to use a cobalt violet. And I'm going to use my regular violet. And then an ultra blue, which is really not blue. And then I'm going to use a couple of different shades of purple. But if you don't have a bunch of purples, you can just create it. So you can do like your purple color and you can add some brown to it and it has like a different shade of purple. So you only need like one purple and you can shift the color. So I'm going to, so I have my purple. I am putting quite a bit here because I want a lot of it. And I'm going to water it down a lot like that. See how much I'm watering that down. And a lot of that is because I want enough to use, but I just want it to be really light. You want it to be really, really light in color. All right, so now I'm going to go around and I'm going to kind of just do, so this first layer, we're going for blurry, like a blurryish background. So I'm really just kind of filling it in a very haphazard way, but kind of keeping a little bit of shape to it. So I'm filling in, since this is floral, I'm kind of just going for like something that looks like petals. But like I said, I'm going very, very, very loose on this one. So even as much as I watered that down, I don't like how watered down. I still think it's a little bit too vibrant for me. So like I said, don't worry about getting perfect petals on this because this is just a very, very soft background. Like that. And then I'm just kind of do this all the way around. So this is more of the color I was going for. And I haven't done any of these before, so I'm kind of just figuring out as I go with you. So you can see how I have like some of these streaks right here. You can see I want that in there. So that's why I'm not really trying to be, I'm not trying to do like a smooth blend. See that? If you guys are doing this one, let me know. I'm curious. Are you doing purples? Are you doing reds? I'm going to kind of change in a couple of colors. I'm going to change this to, so I saw this Indian red from the last one we did. So I'm just kind of mixing these. So what happens if I mix another color with the one I just created is I still have that base color in here, but I changed it up. So I have a little bit more of a variation. So I'm going to put a couple more streaks in here, like right here. This is a good opportunity to fill in some of your pencil lines, like right here. Just kind of where you feel like it needs to go. There you go. just keep playing with this until you get to where it looks pretty cool. And be careful not to overblend, because then you get muddy. Like, how can I overblend or get it to where I want it to be when I don't know what we're painting? Fair question. Okay. My chair is pretty squeaky. Okay, so as you can see, some of this is already drying, which is what I want. Oops, and I've got paint on this other painting I just did. So, move that out of the way. So I'm actually going to go and lift some of this. Mostly just to help it dry. There we go, just like that. So see, it's still the same, it's just drier now. So I can start my next layer. Okay, it's nice and dry. So now I'm going to move on to a smaller brush, kind of like the one we just used. Well, not kind of, it is like the one, it is the one we just used. So like a medium-sized brush. I'm using a 6, 8, 4, 6, or 8 would be good. So now I'm going to be a little bit more deliberate with what I am doing. So I'm going to be creating, and this is very loose. I'm still not looking for, you know, I'm still not looking for perfection. I'm not looking for it to be specific. I'm just looking for it to be loose still with my watercolors, but I want it to be like you can tell what we're going for. So I'm going to just put in some petals. So you can do, actually, oh my gosh, I don't know if you can hear my dog snoring right now, but he is like snoring very loudly, and he's on the bed, and I'm about 15 feet from the bed. So if you can hear him snoring, that is not me. My dog's snoring. Okay, so I'm going to do some petals. So I'm going to, and you might, if you want to practice this on a sheet of paper first, you can. So I'm going to just do like I'm going to press down, oops, more paint. Press down like this, like that. Just creating these little loose petals here. Like that. You don't have to do them in a single brush stroke. You can just paint them on if you want, like that. Maybe put a little bit here. And then I'm going to do maybe like this here. Now, in a perfect world, I'd probably want these to dry a little bit more before I did that, but I'm liking what's happening with the bleeding. And I'm gonna reverse. So this one I did this way. Now I'm gonna go the other direction, so I get more of a fat petal, like this. And as you can see, they're not supposed to look great yet. But all you have to really do is kind of press your brush, and it creates that effect. So, like I said, all you have to do is, so like here, just press down, almost like you're stamping it. See? Like that. Doesn't look like much yet. It will. it will look much better, I promise. So just start creating petals kind of everywhere first, like that. And I'm kind of in the same boat as you guys right now. I have no idea what this is going to look like when it's done. I'm just kind of going with it. So I'm going to do maybe smaller petals here. Oh my gosh, he's so loud with his snoring. He's like, I'm just going to cuddle in bed and pretend the world is not frozen. The thing with watercolors, you definitely have to trust the process, because we're in that point where we're like, yeah, this is not great, but it will get there. It just takes trust and patience. And if you want to prevent yourself from overworking something, the best way to do that is to kind of just work quickly and pretend you're on a deadline. So let's speed it up a bit. Put some here. And you can see I'm using just different shades of purple for mine. If you're doing pinks, then do different shades of pink. I'm going to do something here. So now that it's drying, we're going to get a little bit more defined with our colors. I'm going to... So like here it's bleeding, but not as much. Like I'm not loving this, so I'm actually going to put another flower here that's going to be a little bit darker and overlap it a bit. So I'll do something like here. That. And then this one's definitely more difficult than the one we just did, because you kind of just have to roll with it. And you want your darker colors to go more towards the heart, and that's what's going to help it pop more and give it that like dimension. And then we will add some greens and stuff too to make it look more floral. And so now's the time to start going in and adding a little bit more like deliberate shapes instead of being a little bit looser. So maybe I'm going to do like I don't know what any of these plants are called, but you can see like I'm going a little bit darker with what I'm doing here. So I'm doing a little bit darker just to create that dimension, like that. I'm gonna add like some, let's see, need something right here, I think. And I'm not cleaning my brush. I am just using whatever colors are ending up on them. I'll add a little bit more of this Indian red. Okay, so now what you want to do is, now that you've got these dark colors on your brush, is start going in, like this one here. If you see this one right here, it looks like it's more of an open bloom. So I'm going to go in and add like some center pieces to it. I don't know what they're called, like the little stems. So like here, maybe right here. That. Just kind of where you feel like it needs it. I can tell you that up front, I'm not loving this. I mean, up front, real up close, it's like, I'm not really sure. I'm not used to painting loose, but when I look at the screen, I'm like, oh, I'm really, really liking the way this is turning out. So we're going to add some green now, and the green will help just kind of pull it all together. All right, so I'm getting some green. I still didn't clean my brush because I want to have these purples and stuff still in my brush. And as you can see here, let's see if you can see it, it still has that purple, but it makes it a little bit more of an organic green. So now I'm going to just put in some green, some green. I'm not going to go crazy. I just want like a few green leaves here and there. And I'm making sure my brush is wet because I don't want it to be like wham green, right? I want it to just kind of blend in. So my brush is nice and wet to help it not be so bold against all the other colors. And I'm just adding some leaves here and there. I don't know, maybe where I feel like it's having some gaps. And I'm gonna put some stems here. This looks like it needs a stem. This looks like it needs some leaves here. Just kind of eyeball it and see where you think it needs it. Looks like I need more on this side. So if you like loose watercolor, this is probably a good one for you. All right, almost done. So, I mean, obviously you can write something in here if it's like a Valentine's Day card. You could just put like love or gather, whatever you want, right? Or you can just leave it. I like it just by itself. And then once this is dry, you can go in and erase your pencil lines if you still see some of them. I know I say once it's dry and then I completely ignore my own rules, but let's see if I can show you what it looks like without the pencil lines. Most of them you can't see anyways because they've been painted over. Okay, oh, there's a little bit right there. Okay, there you go. I like that one. All right, that's the next one. I like this one. I don't paint loose watercolors very much. It's just so hard for me to do because I keep wanting to add details into it, but I really like the way this one came out. I think it's very pretty with the purples. So let me see, what should we do next? I think I was going to do another wreath, but I feel like that might be a bit much. What do you guys think? What do you want to do? I'm so curious how all of yours are turning out. I'm struggling because I'm so used to seeing everybody's work when I'm teaching, and I'm usually not the one painting, so I'm struggling to not see everybody's paintings right now. So let me know how you're doing. Just checking in real quick. Should we do something just kind of, if you have like grandkids or kids, this might be a cute one to do with it. I want to do something complete opposite. So we just did like a very feminine, romantic piece, right? So let's see, it's 4 o'clock. Let's do one. Well, let's do one. Let's do one fun one. And then let's see how you feel. I might do one more after that. Maybe not. It's already 4 o'clock. And I know I spent most of the time trying to figure out how to get online. Where did I put my pencil? I'm definitely not in the space I'm used to working in. I'm at my house. Okay, so we're going to do a heart pizza. How about that? This is going to be an easy one. Let's do a heart pepperoni pizza. Okay, let me get this centered again. Okay, so we are going to again, let's do a little, I'm going to do smaller so we can do a little bit quicker. Do heart shape like this, but leave a little gap here, like right there. There we go, like that. And then leave a little gap for your pizza slice, like that. There we go. And then draw a little pizza slice coming out of it. How about that? Like that. And then just erase some of your pencil lines. Like that. That's already cute. It is already cute. I'm gonna do pepperoni. So I'm gonna put my pepperoni in here. I love pepperoni. My kids just had pizza, so of course I'm a little inspired here. So when you're doing the pepperoni, just keep in mind that, like, if you're putting a pepperoni slice here, like a half a pepperoni slice, put the other half on the slice you just removed, like right there, so that it looks like you just got it from that pizza. See how there's that right there and the other half right there on that slice? That's what helps make it look like the slice coming from the pizza. And then we're going to need, I'm not going for realistic, we're going for cutesy. So let's do like a little bit of a yellow. I'm using gamboge. And then I'm going to use a little beige. I'm going to start with wet on wet. And this is going to be really, I'm not going to go into details on this one at all. I'm going to keep it very, very simple. So we're going to start with wet on wet. I'm going to go around the pizza or the pepperoni pieces. I'm not trying to be perfect about it. I just want to get it around there pretty quickly. Once the paint is on there, you can then kind of fix it a little bit better. But I really just want to get the paper wet. And if you focus too much on trying to get it perfectly round, your pepperoni, your paper is going to dry on you before you're ready to paint, and then you're going to be fighting the paint. Okay, so now I'm going to use a little bit of yellow. I'm going to take this yellow because it's very, very bright, and I'm going to take a little bit of this beige, and then maybe, where'd my orange go? Some orange. There. So you see how kind of not perfectly blended that is? It's yellow, beige, and orange. I don't want it to be perfectly blended. I want it like kind of blotchy like that, so I can drop in this color like this. For the cheese, how do you like your pizza? You like pepperoni? Like it plain? My 17-year-old son still eats very plain pizza. I feel like the older you get, the more you want to experiment with the different toppings. But I still just sometimes, I just like my pepperoni pizza. Okay, so now that's it. See how easy that was? Just very, very quickly. You want to go in there and do that. Now, I'm going to take my beige. I need more beige. Take my beige and drop it in on the sides. And my paper is still wet. I'm absolutely okay with that because I do want it to kind of blend in a little bit. I like the way it's going to bleed. So when it bleeds, it kind of does a blending for you. Just like that. Careful not to do a crust here, because remember that's your pizza slice. So you don't want it to be, you don't want it to cover that part of it. I think I might use it maybe a little bit more brown. Maybe I'll just outline it. I don't know. Let's see. Let me put one more. Do I have? I'm going to use sepia just to kind of put a little bit of a darker edge on there. Nothing too dark, just kind of like on a couple of spots here, like right there. Yeah, that's what I needed. A little bit, just a tiny bit of the sepia to darken the edge. So if you don't have sepia, you're just looking for like a dark brown. There. I think that looks like pizza, right? Now we gotta add the pepperoni slices. I'm gonna use Indian red again. I told you that was my color. The Indian red's a little, so here's my Indian red. I think I'm gonna add a little bit of sepia to it to make it a little bit more of that kind of red. What does pepperoni look like? Let me find a picture. Actually, I'm gonna add deep red rose to try to get the right red. Looks like it's like, I'm gonna do it, oh, that's water I spilled on myself. Okay, so I'm gonna use like a deep red rose. Let me see. Is that, I don't know. Maybe a little orange. I'm struggling to get this color right. That might be it right there. More orange. Yeah, need more orange. Okay, and let's do our pepperoni slices. Now, don't fill them in perfectly. We're just going to kind of, I'm going to do the outside and then just kind of see how I'm not doing a solid red. I want it to look like it's reflecting the, it's going to sound gross, but the oil. Yeah, I want a greasy pizza. So see how I'm leaving little white gaps in there? And then you're just going to kind of do all the pepperonis. Oh my gosh, I'm like loving this. I think this is my favorite one so far. This is so cute. I'm going to give this to my son who loves pizza. My daughter does not, strangely enough. She does not like pizza. I've never met anybody who didn't like pizza before. My daughter. I don't love pizza. I couldn't live without it. But I think a lot of it is just age, like just getting older and not tolerating it as well and just feeling kind of bloated and gross after eating pizza. It doesn't have the same effect as when you were a kid. But I definitely loved my pizza when I was younger. Okay, there it is. A little heart pizza. I think it's cute. You have a Pizza Hut. Okay. Should we do one more? It's 4:15. That took us like 10 minutes. Let's do one more. Let's do a heart lollipop. Do one more. I'll leave that there for a second. Let you guys take a look at it before I close it out. All right, so we're going to do one more. We're going to do a heart lollipop, and then we'll wrap it up. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to draw another heart. You guys are going to be really good at drawing hearts at the end of this. Okay, so we're going to draw a heart. Like this. My sinuses are so dry. I usually use a saline spray before getting on and doing a video, and I completely forgot because I was dealing with all the technical difficulties. All right, so to do lollipop, you want can never get the sides of my heart the same on both sides. But the main thing you want is you want the bottom of your heart to be flat, because that is where your stick goes into. And then we're going to draw a stick, and you're going to be able to see through this lollipop. So let's do this, and then I'm going to go like this. I saw this one on Pinterest and I thought it was really cute. And then we're going to do a bow. So I start by drawing the center of the bow like this. And then I just kind of like this. That. I really need to sharpen my pencil. Like this. Oop, that one's a little bit, I don't want to go that far out. Let's go like that. And then I didn't draw the bottom of my bow yet because I want it to kind of go behind this part of the ribbon. It'll make sense once you see it. Like that. Like that. And then, so see how I want that to go behind here? Like that, because I want to add a little of this loop-de-loop thing here. I don't know if that's what it's called, but my little loop-de-loop. And then I'm going to finish the stick. Maybe a little bit longer. It's kind of a short lollipop. So we're doing another cutesy thing. All right, 2 serious ones, 2 cutesy ones. I think that is a fair balance. I don't love my bow, but I can live with it. Okay, I'm gonna be able to fix that more once I start painting. So lollipops, they have these little like bubbles, you know, kind of built into them. So I'm gonna put a couple of bubbles in there. And then let's do this. It's like one of those lollipops that have the edge on it. So let's go ahead and draw the edge in now. This. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase enough of it to get rid of the harsh lines. But I still want to be able to see it. Like that. Okay. All right. I can still see it. And that's the main thing. I think this is so cute. Okay. I think it's cute. I haven't even started yet. Okay. What color should we do the lollipop? Let's see. So we've already done purple flowers. Did the pizza. Yeah, let's just do my favorite flavor lollipops are cherry. So let's do a red. So we're going to start. I'm going to avoid the little circles, but I'm going to do, remember I said I don't have a true red, so I'm doing a little bit of my Indian red with also mixing up my other red to try to get a true red. So I'm just going to do a really watered down paint because it spreads easier without the lines. So you want your paint to be nice and wet. So, and you want to work rather quickly so that it doesn't dry on you. But see what I mean by it not having a true red? And then this is going to be, here's a part that I'm going to show you guys that is really kind of important to do is, remember when you could see the stem through there, which you might not be able to see on my screen anymore. I can still see it, but remember the stem you could see? So while it's wet, we kind of want to put that stem back in there. And I'm going to do like a grayish lollipop. So let me get my black. Like that. And I'm going to put this gray here. So you can kind of see, it'll make more sense towards the end when we put in the detail shadow. But I definitely want this color to come through here while it's wet. This is really important. So you can kind of see, there we go, that's what I'm looking for. About that much. See that? And then I'm going to continue this gray since I'm here for the rest of the lollipop. Like this. It's very, 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 very watered down gray. I still have a touch of red on my brush, so you can see a little bit of it, but I'm okay with that. And I'm going to leave a little white streak there for the little highlights. Probably too much. Too much. Too much. Like that. And then I'm going to wet this because I didn't like how much I got on there. And I'm going to lift. There we go. Now I'm going to go back in and add some of my detail shadowing to my lollipop, like right there. That. And then remember that shadowing we added there, like that. If you're struggling with the drawing of this one, because there is a little bit more drawing in this than the other ones, once I'm done here, take a screenshot once it's done, and then just trace it. Maybe a clean wet brush to kind of blend that a little bit, but you can kind of see the lollipop happening. And then if you have bleed proof white, you can go back in and add some highlights later, which I will do just so you can see it. So you can kind of see it taking shape. Okay, so let's do the ribbon while that's drying. I'm going to do purple since it's on my palette. There we go. And now I can go back in and add some more detail. And it is still wet, so I'm adding like my first layer here, letting it bleed a little bit. And then I will go in and add more later. Like that. There we go. Okay, and now I'm going to do darker shadows on my stem, the stick. I think this thing has an actual official name. I feel like it would. So just cleaning that up. This is probably another thing I would have done with a ruler had I thought about it. But that's okay. We're going for whimsical. Whimsical is the theme for this one. And then I'm using black right now. This is where the shadowing is going to help a lot with this one to make it look realistic. No, I mean, not realistic. This definitely doesn't look realistic, but look more like a lollipop. So you can see how it's kind of coming together now. I'm going to move to my smaller brush. All right, so here's my little air bubbles. I'm going to put a dark red line around it. That. And I'm going to add more thin line details here, here. Just in sections, not the whole thing. Okay. Now See how adding these shadows just makes it come together so well. It's like it doesn't look like much until you start putting these shadows in. So to do the shadows, I'm literally just doing purple that's not watered down directly to the paper to keep it nice and vibrant. I'm not liking this paper I'm using. I just grabbed what I had at the studio. I'm not liking it at all. I don't know what it is that's bugging me about it, but I don't like the way it's very porous, which dealt with porous paper before, but this one is not. And the other ones in the batches were fine. Okay, so I think I'll do a little more right here. Now add some more of the black right here. A lot of watercolorists are very against using black for anything, especially shadowing. I am not one of those people. I think it looks, I love the contrast that it creates, like that. So I'm just adding some black details. I think it kind of makes it look a little bit more whimsical too. Like that. You can use a micron pen if you want. Like that. See, I like the way it adds a little final touch to it. I think it just adds to the whimsicalness of this lollipop. I did tell you that this was going to be all about the shadows, and it is. All right, I'm going to do a little bleed-proof white, and then that will be the end of it. I think that's giving it a cute final touch. Oh. I keep wanting to do more. There. I think that's cute. All right, so let's look at everything we've done. So here's the lollipop. Here is the little heart pizza. Oh, there's a lollipop. Here's a pizza. Pizza. Right there. And then here is the floral wreath. Needs to be flattened out. And then the last one is my branch with the hanging hearts that now have purple stains on it. So that is it. I will be back tomorrow at the same time. Hopefully less glitchy. No promises, but I will be working on it tonight, tomorrow, to try to make this smoother and then get more of the landscape mode. But thank you for joining me. If you have any requests on what to do tomorrow, just comment below, and I'll see you then.